Morning, chums. As of course the world woke up the other day to Meghan Markle's latest endeavour of With Love Meghan, it was all about showing her humanitarian side, wasn't it? The person that she's now become, the person that apparently we're supposed to be really enamoured with. And more importantly, let's not forget, this was showing her being a warm, welcoming hostess at this very special and magical time of the year. The big problem that I've had with Meghan Markle, as many of you can understand, is the fact that there's a dual personality. Clearly, there's some huge issue going on there. And this is because when you look at the bigger picture, you have to understand how on earth can a woman turn her back on someone like her father, Thomas Markle, and basically it's all over what? A letter that he leaked out to a newspaper? And remember, this is a man who she decided to ostracize from her own spectacular royal wedding. A wedding that she called, orchestrated reality, or wasn't really for her, so they had the secret wedding. She was lying from the off. Thomas Markle truly holds the keys to exactly the complex character that Meghan Markle truly is. Hence the reason he wasn't allowed to attend the royal wedding for whatever reason, secrets, the sort of thing. The bottom line really was, I felt sorry for Thomas Markle. I mean, as anybody knows, and everybody who watches this show on a regular basis, I'm a huge fan of anybody, and I don't mean that, but I'm a huge fan of anybody who's in hospital, because it's not nice. Nobody wants to be in there, and it's just the sort of thing that we have to go to get better. If you're going through treatment, you have, of course, my best wishes and God bless us, because it's just, we love all the people that do all the great work, the sterling nurses and doctors, but really you want to get back to reality, back to normality, don't you? Now, of course, Meghan Markle has known her father has been incredibly ill for many years, and he's never seen his grandchildren. Really, neither has, of course, His Majesty the King, or indeed William and Catherine. This is the sort of character Meghan Markle is. But according to an excellent source, well, quite frankly, even at this critical time of Mr. Markle's health, which we were alerted to by his son, Thomas Markle Jr., well, seemingly Meghan has a heart of stone. As ever, let me explain. Morning, chums, welcome one and all, and thank you for joining me today in a very wet, rainy, miserable, depressing, have I got enough adjectives in there? Of course, London. I hope you keep you well. Nice to have your company anyway. And thank you for joining me on this. But it's the only way we can do it. I know, a brolly. I know. Well, it's better than nothing, isn't it? I was wondering about getting one of those brollies. Do you remember I think you can still get them at the seaside, where you put it on your head like a hat. I know, you look daft, but does it matter? In the end, does it truly? No. As long as you keep dry, that's all that's important. Whatever you're doing with yourselves today, do look out for yourselves. As I say, if you are in hospital, hope you're feeling better. Try and do as the doctors and nurses say. They know best, but you also know best about your own body. Trust me. I'm a great believer in that as well. Absolutely, chums. You know what I'm saying. Let's get back, of course, to your royal story of the day. This was terrible news when you think about it, really, because, of course, Meghan Markle, really should have had a little bit, shall we say, of a foresight into how far her father's health has, deteriorated ever since she decided to ostracize him, remove him, take him away from life, seemingly because of, one or two mistakes. Now, you could say that, Meghan will have her reasons. And of course, she's been playing it very close to her chest as to what those reasons are. Many people would still surmise, I think genuinely kind, good-hearted people, that really everything has to rule out in the favour of health, doesn't it? You have to make amends with yourself. I remember seeing an interview with Madonna recently, and she basically said that she did make up with her brother before he died because it was important to her that he knew that she'd forgiven him. And it was a very moving piece, in fact. It wasn't staged, it wasn't celebrity, it was just her being honest about she didn't really want him to go away thinking that he still, of course, had offended her. And they had a spectacular fallout for obvious reasons. What the difference is, of course, with Harry and Meghan is the fact that they bill themselves as humanitarians, good people, kind people, that sort of stuff. But what you really find out is the fact that Meghan clearly has a heart of stone. According to an excellent source, and this is again where it's very, very sad indeed. As you know, Meghan launched a TV show, right? And basically, according to a very well-placed source, and again, I have to say allegedly, Meghan Markle wanted more detailed proof of this, shall we say, admission to hospital by her father. father. She hasn't contacted him. She just wanted to know exactly the details. Many people who have worked for Meghan suspect the fact that, she doesn't trust him. And consequently, on the day that should have been a big day for her, launching a TV show, a very final and some say exit outing for Netflix, of course, this was very much sort of, convenient, dare I say. And also do not forget that Meghan herself knew exactly when the official German state visit was, with all the pomp and pageantry over at Windsor Castle. She's a very much, as the kids in today's society say, a mean girl, right? She does exactly what she thinks and what she wants. On top of all that, on the very same day, and literally knowing this particular information about her father, she continued to post on social media, including her husband, hapless Harry, joking around on the Stephen Colbert show. Now, according to that source, and this is an excellent source who worked with Meghan, she has her personal reasons as to why she's never made contact since with her father. And they run far deeper, apparently, than just the problems that she had with the wedding. You get the picture. But the problem that you've got if you are Meghan Markle, and this is the bigger issue really, is you can't present yourself as a warm, caring, sharing individual with humanitarian backdrop if in fact you can't be polite about, the one person that gave you everything at the start of your life. You see, Meghan doesn't really want to remember or indeed reiterate that. She was quite keen to use her father initially in the opening stages of course, her royal life. Many people suggest, of course, to keep Her Majesty the Queen in balance. Apparently the Queen thought it was a nice gesture when Meghan pointed out that, he'd helped her with her education. But very quickly she decided that no, Meghan had helped herself with her education and Thomas was literally a bystander in the background. You get the picture again. Now, as I said, what's interesting about Meghan is the fact that, according to this source, a very well-placed source, and again, I have to say, allegedly, obviously, the bottom line was she just seemingly wanted to know exactly what was wrong with her father and, of course, what was the outcome. At the time of recording this, and this is really, I think, dreadful when you think about it, neither Prince Harry or indeed Meghan Markle have made any official contact with the hospital. Now, one might say, even if you didn't necessarily want to speak to your family or whatever, you could privately find out whether, how it sits. But in Meghan's case, I would say what she really needs to do, and this is imperative in my opinion, is to let the public know that against all odds, whatever they may have fallen out of or whatever, the bottom line is she is showing some compassion. This, in my opinion, will be the final nail in her brand. Whatever she may think, you cannot fake sincerity. Meghan Markle has tried to fake it for many years. It hasn't worked, it hasn't happened, and more importantly, it simply won't. Right now, though, for Meghan Markle, things are looking more dicey, literally by every hour. And of course, everybody on this channel wishes Thomas Markle a full and speedy and good recovery, because anybody who's in that situation, thousands of miles away from home, seemingly wanting to move away from the circus that his daughter has created, you can understand he wanted a peaceful life in his remaining few years. What, of course, Meghan and Harry have given both sides of their families is anything but a peaceful life. Harry making his father's life even more intolerable on a daily basis. Either way, though, things are not looking good. And as I say, if Meghan Markle feels she can step away from this and think that people, even the Hollywood elite, will forgive her, truly, this is the end. Neil Sean in a rainy Kensington, London.